Welcome back to Dr. Dave. I'm Jade and we'll be playing Planet Zoo. Hello, British gamer.
Gonna jump to the live screen now, guys. Enjoy the stream.
Really far away, Dave.
My fault, so small.
Hey. Hey.
I was born small.
Oh.
Well, this is weird. You're weird. Hey, Gibbo. That's really high up. Can I not put that somewhere else? I feel very small. Look, I look like a little tiny child in there.
Alright. Grab hold of that window and put it over there. Yeah.
Hello, Midnight Gaming.
That's Lawrence.
Lawrence. Oh, Lawrence. That's better. I can see it now. I do feel like a teeny tiny little person in this.
Not made for midgets like you.
Rude. But she's in her jammies.
Ah.
So funny. Hey, JC. You do.
Ooh. Ah.
Whoa. Yep.
Yeah, I've been working a lot, you see. Dave don't let me play on his computer very often.
Not my fault, you're always bloody sleeping.
I'm a very tired person. Hello, Zaki. Only gonna get worse the more Christmas it gets. One thing I hate about Christmas.
Ah, heyo at Hematu. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. I have a habit of slipping back into the Blanco language.
Okay.
It's good to
Yes, one thing I hate about Christmas is
although I insist
all of the Christmas
you call me
pickings.
Bernie.
I'm
The only
okay.
person
I'm
who
just
calls me Bernard
tired.
is my wife. And even then, only when I've tracked elephant dung into the carpets.
Why is this guy talking to me
As
about
you know,
elephant and
I
shit?
own several zoos, but I always like to show people the ropes here at my home. This is the first zoo I ever opened, and a source of great pride for me. And prize, thanks to a lion breeding program we ran in the 80s. But we're in the middle of a big renovation, and that's where you come in. Sadly, our old contractor had to retire after developing a fur allergy. Poor devil kept sneezing his dentures into the lion habitat. So, it's up to you to finish everything off. Don't worry though, I'm not completely throwing you into the deep end. My head keeper, Nancy
What
Jones,
Welsh bird? What are you on about?
Oh, she's a hard worker.
What Welsh
And
bird?
she'll expect you to be
This
too.
is the first
But
I've seen of
I'm
it.
sure you'll get along
Press the
like a
play
house
button
fire.
on the stream
Better
deck.
one that isn't on fire. Less shouting that way.
Hello there.
Ah.
From that rosy, fresh face of yours, I'm guessing you're Bernie's new hire.
That
Good.
Welsh
Now,
bird, is
I
it?
hope you're ready to ditch your diploma because we're about to get really hands-on.
Brilliant.
But before we begin the real work, how about we familiarise you with the zoo by learning how to fly around it and visiting some of our beautiful animals? We'll start by popping over and having a look-see at the grizzly bears in their habitat.
Bulky.
Did you know that grizzly bears, also known as Ursus arctos horribilis, can hibernate for up to 7 months a year? Oh, but then again, given the chance, I think a lot of people would do that too. Select one of the bears and you'll bring up its information panel. This is where you can find out all kinds of information about your animal, the most important thing being its overall welfare. You'll learn more about animal welfare today as we go through your objectives. But for now, let's enjoy this magnificent animal. Why don't you select the camera at the bottom of its information panel?
Did that bit.
See now, this is a fantastic way to get a close look at your animals. You can also get this view of an animal by simply double-clicking on it. Okay, when you're ready, let's pop over to the other side of the zoo and take a look at the lions. I've marked their location for you to find.
Am I not talking? I am. It's because I have a mouthful of biscuit. Sorry.
Panthera leo leo, or the West African lion to you and me.
I like
Lions
snacks.
are the most social of the big cats, and there can be as many as 40 lions in a pride, although prides of that size are pretty rare.
Wrong with your
As Bernie would
enrichment.
say, those lions are awesome, which is precisely why I handle the training instead these days. Anyway, how about we
Fuck
get
off,
started
Dave.
on those objectives? Come on, let's head over to an empty habitat and see what needs doing there.
Hello, Epic. Yeah, I need food. I like food. Food's good for me. God. Ah! Where'd that habitat go? Alright, what am I doing?
As you can see, it's a lovely space for animals, but it's missing a certain something.
No, I
Well,
don't think he's...
two
I don't know
somethings.
where he's gone.
Warthogs. So I'd like you to adopt a pair of them. To adopt animals, we need to open the animal market, which is in the animal trading section.
Oh, I've covered that.
There we are, a pair of perfectly splendid warthogs for our zoo. Just click on them and select Adopt from the side menu. Normally the animal exchange would be full of animals, but I've emptied out the market while you learn how it works. The last thing I need is you accidentally ordering a dozen elephants.
That would be funny.
When you adopt an animal, it's automatically placed in the trade centre, where they're held until you're ready to move them into their habitat, which, as it happens, you are. So how about you move them into their new home? When you ask for an animal to be moved into a habitat, your caretakers will go to the trade centre, collect your animal and deliver them to your selected habitat. I've marked the trade centre's location, so let's go and watch the caretakers in action.
Yeah. He's on the toilet, I would imagine. I don't know what this woman just said. What did you say, love? Something about animals. Did anyone catch what she said? Ooh. Oh, new animals. Hungry and thirsty. It said action out. What blue flashing? Oh, that.
Well, as you can see, those caretakers don't hang about. They'll move those animals to their destination as fast as possible. Of course, normally we'd have to place the animals into quarantine before moving them into a habitat, but I am assured by a person of good standing that these warthogs are in the very rudest of health. Right, let's get the warthog's habitat finished up so we can keep them nice and happy. You see, each animal in the zoo has an overall welfare statistic, basically how happy they are. And that overall welfare statistic is itself comprised of 4 different areas: nutrition, social health, habitat, and enrichment. Luckily, if you select an animal, you'll bring up their animal welfare information panel, which we saw earlier, where you can see how they're doing. That way, you'll know exactly what areas need to be addressed.
Exactly.
Don't worry if that's a lot to remember. You can always check the Zoopedia for more information. Let's start by making sure we're taking care of the warthog's nutrition welfare. To do this, we'll need to place a food station and a drinking station. Now, each animal requires a different type of feeding station. And for the warthogs, it's a small feeding trough. So let's add one of those and a water bowl.
You can have
Animals
2,
also
why
require
not?
stimulation to keep them happy. Let's add a lovely mud bath for the warthogs to roll around in. That bath will count towards their enrichment welfare, specifically their toy enrichment welfare.
Any more?
Oh, nice work. You've got a knack for this, I see.
Yeah.
Now, our contractor had to leave in a hurry, so this place is in a fair old state. Unfinished thingamajigs and whatsits all over the shop. But the first thing we need to finish is the ostrich habitat. It's over near the hippos.
Yeah. They're a special kind of pig.
Oh, before we actually
It's-
start
I
building
dunno.
our ostrich habitat, let's pause the game. Just click the pause button in the bottom right corner.
Okay.
That's more like it. A quick break. Sometimes it's a good idea to pause the game whilst you're doing something which requires your concentration, because it'll stop the zoo spinning out of control while you're looking the other way. Let's keep the game paused while we get this ostrich habitat built. Okay, job number 1 here is to add a habitat gate before we complete the barrier. Every habitat needs a habitat gate. After all, how else would the keepers get in and out? Just make sure it's hooked up to the path so the keepers can reach it.
Right. Well, let me put it in there, you fucking... Oh.
Right, let's complete the perimeter barrier so we can adopt us some ostriches. I've marked out an area for you to use, so I'd like you to finish off the perimeter using the brick barrier.
Ah. Can't fucking see. Turn around. Oh, hello, love.
Good work. Remember, before you can place animals in any habitat, it has to have a full loop of connected barrier. Now, you've probably noticed that guests can't actually see into this habitat at the moment. At least not without a stepladder. But
Yeah,
seeing as
I'm
they're
alright,
banned,
thanks, love.
I'd like you to select a piece of barrier and swap out the brick for a glass barrier so the guests can see in.
Ah. That the swap button? Who wants the swap button? Ah!
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Adding in more windows gives guests even more opportunities to see the animals in a habitat. It's always best to make sure the guests can get a good view into a habitat from the path
He's in
they're
the
walking
throne
on,
room.
because it makes them happy, and because this would be a pretty terrible zoo if they couldn't. The last thing we need to do is to add a donation box. You see, when guests enjoy the view of an animal, they'll make a donation. Just make sure you put them in easy-to-reach places, like near a viewing point. Donation boxes are one of the main sources of income for the zoo, so make sure you remember them. Now, before we adopt our ostriches, you should click the play button. After all, if the game
Hi,
is paused, then
Toza.
so are our caretakers, which will make it a bit tricky for them to deliver the ostriches, eh?
Hilarious.
By the way, as well as pausing the game, you can speed the game up by clicking on the fast forward button. It'll run everything at 2 times and 5 times faster.
Yeah.
It can be useful, especially if you're waiting for money to accumulate or for animals to be delivered to your habitat. Personally, I use it when I'm waiting for a brew to finish. All right, you've finished the habitat, so it's high time we adopted those ostriches, don't you think? Let's get
Thanks.
4 of them in here.
Oh, bot for him. Go away.
While we wait for them to be collected by the caretakers and brought to the habitat, you should get it ready for them. Add a suitable feeding station, water station, and an appropriate food enrichment item. It's often best to place things like enrichments and feeding stations near to the habitat perimeter, so guests can get a really good view of the animals.
What?
Oh, good to see the ostriches have somewhere they can really stretch their legs. Did you know they can actually run at 43 miles per hour?
Yes.
Oh, heaven forbid they ever escape. The speed camera fines alone would bankrupt us.
Well, Bernie certainly seems impressed. Did you do his speed camera joke? Every time we get an ostrich. So, now we've made the ostriches' lives a bit better, let's do the same for the keepers, shall we? To make it easier for the keepers to feed the ostriches and hippos, we should build a new keeper hut. Keeper huts are where the keepers prepare the food for animals, so they should be placed near to the habitats to make sure the keepers don't waste their time walking when they should be looking after the animals. You'll need to rotate the keeper hut to get it to connect up to the path. This keeper hut only has space for 1 keeper, but the larger keeper hut can
Hey,
allow
Megan.
multiple keepers
I'm
to
alright,
prepare
thanks.
food at the same time. Oh, but bear in mind that keeper huts and other staff facilities shouldn't be placed near to areas where there are lots of guests.
Dave's moaning at me because
Guests
I
don't
ate
like
half a
seeing
packet
facility
of...
buildings, and it can affect their happiness.
Yes. I
Negatively.
told you Harley had biscuits in my
In
home.
case that wasn't clear. Something that all facilities, shops, and a
What are
whole
you
host
eating?
of other objects need is power. And that obviously includes your newly built keeper hut. So let's place a
you're eating
transformer
Lace's
next to
pears.
it, shall we? Now, the reason everything has gone blue is because you're using the power heat map. This map allows you to see what is and what isn't powered in your zoo.
Yeah.
So once you've placed your transformer, you can click in the bottom left to turn the heat map off.
It's
Lovely
pretty
work.
much the same
Now
as...
the keepers can start using the hut to prepare food, and thanks to where you've put it, they won't need to
called?
walk very far to deliver it to the ostriches and hippos. Let's get on to your next objective then. Bengal tigers.
Oh, yeah.
We want to adopt some, but I'm afraid there's nothing ready for them yet.
This is a bit
Head
like...
on over to the plot of land I've marked out. It's not too far away.
What's the dinosaur? Jurassic Park.
Righty,
Obviously,
your next
like,
job is to
without
build a
dinosaurs
habitat
and
from scratch. And concrete and glass, I expect. So go ahead and build it. Just make sure that the habitat includes that big hole we've dug. Oh, and don't forget to add a habitat gate to the barrier.
and that shit.
Oh, and make sure the guests will be able to see the tigers.
Think they'll be able to see that enough. Whoa, whoa. Get off! Oh, my good God. Oop. Oh, shit. Ah. Oh, where'd I go? Ah.
Now, Bernie takes safety very seriously at his zoos, so we should probably make sure those tigers can't jump out of their habitat, don't you think? The way we'll do it is by changing the height of the habitat's barrier. Okay then, you should start by double-clicking the habitat barrier, which will take you into barrier editing mode. Great. Now highlight the entire perimeter of the habitat. You can do that by clicking and dragging the barrier selection tool.
Ah.
Now you've got all of the perimeter selected, you can increase the height of it by clicking and dragging the barrier height tool upwards. You'll want to make sure it reaches a height of at least 3.7 meters.
Hello, Sean CDA.
Now that the habitat is in place, don't forget to put down a donation box near to your viewing areas. We need every dollar we can get. Especially as these tigers aren't exactly eating instant noodles for lunch.
Oh. Oh, back it. Yeah, all good, thanks. You alright, Beastie?
Okay, that's the habitat boundary complete, the habitat gate's in place, and most importantly, the tigers won't be able to jump out of it anymore. I think it's time we adopted those tigers.
I don't know why you make me adopt tigers after I've only just made the barrier. Don't actually let me finish. Theoretically, we would adopt the tigers after the food and stuff. Good, thanks.
Whilst
Trying to
our
figure out
trusty
how to
caretakers
play this.
collect and deliver the tigers, let's take a look at preparing the habitat for their arrival. We'll
Think.
start with the basics. Add a suitable feeding station for them. This time, instead of adding a water bowl, let's try something different.
Water in
Some
there.
animals need a pool in their habitat so they can go for a swim, but they can also use it to drink from. All you have to do is make sure the banks of the pool have a gentle slope so they can easily get a nice, refreshing drink. There's already a pool excavated, but you still need to fill it with water. You should do that by going into terrain and selecting the water tool.
Ah. Okay.
Yes, that'll do nicely. Of course, just like the warthogs and ostriches, these tigers will also need some enrichment. Why don't you add some suitable toy and food enrichment items into their habitat?
Literally let me put a tiny blob of water. Funny guy. Funny guy. How'd you turn this?
Okay, it's really starting to take shape. Now, the tigers will need a shelter in their habitat so they can hide from the guests, or more likely, the bad weather. Although, given that we're in England, you might want to think of that just as normal weather. Go on, add a shelter to their habitat. You can either build one from various suitable bits and bobs, or if you like, just pop down the blueprint that I've already built for you.
Pop down the...
Oh, poor Dabs. I'm sure it can't have escaped your attention that the tigers look a bit miffed. That's because they aren't too keen on the type of terrain in their habitat. Select a tiger and bring up its information panel.
At least you let me put more water in.
Rightio. Click on the Terrain tab. That way you can view the terrain information and see how they feel about the different types of terrain. That'll tell you what the tigers need more of or less of in this habitat.
Want some more pearl. That it? Why not let me buy plants? Off to see the Halifax rent boys end of the month. Oh, that's nice. Come on then, you dozy cow. I'm fucked off that there's no plants either.
Okay then, open the terrain editing tool, select painting, and give them some more soil. Yes, that should help with the habitat part of their welfare.
Soil? Add soil? Some dirt.
Right then, all animals need plants and trees from their own biome or continent. You know, deserts, savannas, Eurasia, Europe, that sort of thing. It looks like these tigers need a few more plants in their habitat. To get a perfect fit, use plants from the rainforest and temperate biomes that are native to Asia. Although if you have to, you can get away with using just one or the other. The tigers will also want a certain amount of their habitat to be covered by those plants. To find out which plants to use and how many, select a tiger and go to the Environment tab. Now, as you can see, some of the plants currently in the habitat aren't quite right for the tiger, like the wattle bushes. You can remove them if you want. You can find all of the plants you need in the nature section, and you can use the filters to only show the types of plants you want to see. In this case, that's plants from the rainforest or temperate biomes.
What? Spoken Chinese. Asia. What? What? Will be? Yeah, it's alright, Em. Alright, Graham. Oh my god. Yeah? This. Oh! How on earth have I put some plants on top of the bloody... I don't know. Managed to put... Wait. Random. Good. Yeah. Beautiful.
They say the good fences make good neighbors. I
Hardy,
guess that's
hardy,
doubly true
har.
when one of the neighbors is a Bengal tiger. Still,
Ooh.
those tigers look so happy that I doubt they'd leave, even if you did poke a hole in their fence. Oh, but for heaven's sake, don't test that theory.
Right, let's head over to the Indian peafowls. I've been told that we need to improve
And
their
have a look
social
at some
welfare.
pig. Peafowl.
Now then, just find one of the peafowls and select them to open their information panel. Then we can have a good gander at how they're doing. Although
No,
technically, I suppose gandering would just be for geese. Expand their social welfare and we can get a bit more detail. Now, they've clearly got plenty of space and they're not stressed, but it looks like their social group isn't quite right. So let's find out more. Click on the social tab at the top of their information panel to see what's wrong.
he wants another friend.
Right, as you can see, the peafowlers need their population to be larger. To solve this little problem, you'll need to adopt 3 more female peafowls. Off you pop to the animal market then.
A pop.
Good work on those peafowls. I expect they'll be delivered soon. But sadly, it sounds like our snow leopard is a bit grumpy. Let's head over there and see what's wrong with her. Just like people, animals can suffer from stress if things aren't quite right. You know, like when you see someone put in the milk before the tea bag. In the case of these snow leopards, they're a bit stressed by their lack of privacy. You can lower their stress levels by swapping out the normal glass barrier by their cave for one-way glass. It's not a cheap option, but I think they're worth the expense, don't you? This will give the snow leopards somewhere to go when they want to get away from the prying eyes of the guests. Of course, when an animal isn't in its natural biome, it's probably going to be too hot or too cold. Unsurprisingly for the snow leopards, it's too hot. Even with the terrible British weather, you should help cool it down by adding some coolers to their habitat. But let's start by opening up the temperature heat map and having a look-see at the temperature in the leopard's habitat. As you can see, we already have one cooler in there. Let's pop some more down and get as much of the habitat as chilly as we can. Luckily for us, this habitat already has power, but you'll need to make sure of that in the future. Just so you know, if any part of a habitat is powered, then the whole habitat will be powered. You can find heat maps for all sorts of helpful things, so do be sure to explore them and make good use of them. It'll take a little while for the temperature to adjust once you've added coolers or heaters, but now we've got the coolers in, we can address the leopard's terrain welfare. You see, what the leopards really want in here is snow and rock, so let's make that happen.
Let it snow, let it snow. Yeah.
Now then, all of that should give you a pretty good understanding of how to make animals happy. So I'd like you to go and check on all the other animals in the zoo and fix up any issues with their habitats. That'll increase the average welfare of the animals across the whole zoo. And that average welfare is a very important statistic.
I just stop
Now,
at the
to quickly
grass.
see how all your animals are doing in the zoo, you should go into zoo management and then into the animals section.
Oh.
As you can see, this list shows you the animal's overall welfare. So if something's amiss, then you can quickly pop over to them using the locate button. Right, I'm off for a cuppa while you make sure all the animals are well looked after.
F. How they got a con? Ocean bedding. Toys. Wait, toys. Look at all the toys, Mr. Dado. Oh, in happier. Want some. Not there. I've got to feed him. Right. Really confuses guys, just like what's it called? Why have I got leaves in boxes? Why is this guy just coming in and leaf blowing everywhere and not actually filling up the food and water food station? Okay. Fucking lemur that's turned up. Why am I getting so many bloody lemurs arriving? Where's all these lemurs coming from? Why is he not... What, beetles? Beetles? Huh? What on earth? I meant to do anything about beetles. Well... happening with my giraffes habitat. Wrong with the rain? Look at this. pick up poo. Beautiful. Now what's wrong? You want some plants? Don't like this birch tree. Birch. Any blooming birch? Bum 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 bum. Ugh. Ugh, really? I'll just like select a load of it. Delete button. Oh, yeah. Oops. That's okay. Dave, is this window open? My hand is cold. I feel like I need a booster seat. Oh my god, there's 59 of them. Ridiculous. Why would the game put 59 plants? Something that the animal don't like. Why are you telling me about a frog? I can't really do much about a frog. Zappy. You don't even like the bracken plant. Really? Dave, I need to boost the sequence. I'm too tiny for this chair. Daddy, I can't see. Can't see over the steering wheel, Daddy. No. It's better. I can see. That were you? Well, I'm sorry. I've tried feeding you, and the stupid caretaker ain't doing nothing about it. Zookeeper, whatever you want to call it. Why is he not feeding him? Oh. Does anyone know what? I see, I do look a little lost in this chair. Thanks. Yeah, I do look a little lost in this chair, Gibbo. It's huge. Gibbo, why is he not feeding him? Why is he just hoovering up poo? Not feeding them. Look, they're all hungry. They're all gonna die. Why is he being a cunt? Ow! How many zookeepers? I don't know. They got these feeding platforms. That's how they get fed, as far as I know. Lemaloos. I don't know. Yeah, they get lemurs get fed by feeding platforms. I've got a big one and a medium one. I ain't got a clue how many zookeepers I have. But I keep getting a zookeeper going in there, hoovering up their shit and then just walking away. So Animal Trade Centre, I don't want that. No. Usually clicked on the lemur button. And fucking lemur. How'd you get a okay. Look, he's gone in, he's hoovered up poo and he's fucked off again. He's walking around with food. Why are you not bringing that in here? They're just... a zookeeper house there. And let's see what happens. That's true. Why you want get off? Oh, on us. But I'm a transformer in the fucking air. I'll just stick in power there just in case, you know, why the fuck not? Ain't my money. Have some fucking power. Maybe the zookeeper needs power to realise to fucking fill up the feeding platform. But you, mate. Right. In the last year, you've cleaned up 51 loads of shit and you're an expert in it. And you've done 2 lots of food refills. Right. Clean habitat. Work zone. Lemurs. Right. So I'm paying, he's getting paid £2.5 a month to be an expert pooper scooper, and he's meant to do the feeding as well, but he ain't very good at that. Apparently, will expect higher salary. He's a master. Right. In his 6 years, and you've only refilled 13 food stations. How are you a master? but clean 305 habitats. So you're an overqualified, overpaid poop scooper. My gate paid what I'm worth. I can't get to my work zone. I'm absolutely loving this job. I should take a break. What objectives you got to do? First couple trial maps. I've no idea. I'm just sort of, I don't know. There ain't a blue one. She basically just told me to go around and make all the animals happy, innit? And trying to do that, but this expert poop scooper is not very good at feeding. I'm gonna turn that off and then let's right, keepers en route apparently. I've turned him off for poop scooper. Yeah, I like it too. No, I've unpaused the game now. I like it. His name. Oh, we've got two. Two. Oh, look, this guy. This guy's got some bucket full of stuff. And yet, our feeding platforms are still empty. What did he do to this? Forage box. So you're filling up this forage box. Okay. Click on top left trophy. Increase average habitat species welfare over 90%. Yeah, they're filling up this forage box. So I'm guessing that at least they're getting fed, I suppose. I changed one of these little workers to Thursday. Need to add plants or toys to one of the. Yeah, I know. I'm working on it. I was playing with the zebras, but then the lemurs kept moaning that they were all dying of starvation, you know, as they do. These lemurs want some more toys, so I'll give them some more toys. This. Ooh. One of those. Did give them a box to play with. Already got a jungle Jimmy thing. Look, there's a bigger one. I have an even bigger one. And they're like. Easy toy enrichment. Oh, hi, Massey. You like the forager feeder thing? I could say. Couple more of these at that. Having good fun with the cardboard box. Everyone loves a cardboard box. Yeah, I was just giving them some more cardboard boxes. I mean, Harley likes cardboard boxes, so why wouldn't the lemurs? Why am I keep getting boxes of lemurs turning up? I don't know. This is saying that they're not happy with the look, species toy enrichment. Yeah, they're not happy with that. Wait, Mr. Lemur, come here. He's thirsty. Sound like the balls or the sprinkler. Oh, fucking right. I don't know where these lemurs are coming from. Where are all these bloody lemurs coming from? Are they all like having babies? Is it adopted looking? Well, yeah. Fucking popping up out of nowhere. Oh, they like the mirror mobile. Stick another one of them in. That hit the spot. Yeah, it's alright. I quite like it. It's oh, there we go. We're in the green. Lovely. What? Gibbo's favourite place? What there's in the green? Yeah. Gibbo's favourite place is in the green. Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it's very similar to Jurassic Park in the way of controls and looking after the animals and stuff. And I do like, yeah, it's sort of like a cross between a cross between Zoo Tycoon and Jurassic Park in the way of you know, the looking after the animals and stuff, and then the Zoo Tycoon bit of this, the fact that you can go in, see what it is the animal likes and what the animal doesn't like. Which I really do like. In fact, I played Planet Coaster. I haven't played Planet Coaster. But I did like Roller Coaster Tycoon. I was never good at building my own roller coasters though, because they just ended up like going absolutely everywhere and not matching up at all, which wasn't too clever, really. I'm on the Panda Park at the moment. I love pandas. Pandas are awesome. Oh, I think these random boxes keep coming up because I keep putting things where lemurs actually are. So they're just moving the lemurs about. That makes sense to everybody. I'm basically putting things in the way. Well, putting things where lemurs are. I've played Jurassic Park Evolution. That's good. It's the third part once you finish this one. Oh. I like playing these on sandbox mode. Yeah, I know there's sandbox mode. You learn Oh, I do like that it's quite natural in the way of the fact that they release the animals into the wild. I think that's really nice. Why is this? What's the difference between coverage and plant? Does anyone know what the difference between coverage? What? Oh, that's cool. Didn't know you could trade with other people. Right, this is meant to be like a hanging vine, right? So well, it's not getting to 100%, that's why. I wanted it, look, see, it's 95, I wanted it to be 100. But alright, Gibbo, I'll leave the lemurs alone. Right. Turtles want some more toys. Give the turtles more toys, shall we? The water seems to be non-existent. Okay, we will give them some more water shortly. Sometimes too many plants will make them unhappy by you. Shut it, Gibbo. Mr. Know-It-All. Can't see whether it's red or orange. Really like these herb scented marker thingies. Don't they? Oh, there's the water, Dave. Sort of bobbing along. They're not liking these balls. It is all a load of balls, Dave. I like the herb scented marker things. I can get the food enrichment up, but I can't get the toy enrichment up. Hi. What? I bring you drinks and stuffs when you're streaming. Need more toys. No, okay. Ooh. Any further? Dave, cough. What? You mean coffee time? Thank you. Hello, Sean. Right. Get off. Get off. Can't be reached. That can't be reached. Well, I'll put it there then, innit? Oh, for goodness sake. I hear you, mister. Yeah. Try and reach it up there, Mr. Keeper. Whoa. That's floating. It is. Bloody floating. Why is it floating? What, empty the whole thing? Alright. They're like a bulldoze tool. I didn't put this in here. I literally put a couple of toys, a couple of plants. It was the zoo people. This was already like this. Yeah. Alright. Gibbly bob bob. I was fixing. What's that? Oh, I nearly deleted a lemur. That wouldn't have been good, would it? Delete the lemur. That's a forage box. That's going in the bin. Oh, 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 I've got a cramp in my foot. My feet don't belong on the floor. So much stuff in here. No wonder this lemur here is moaning because there's not enough space. Don't delete the lemur. Wildlife folk tend to frown upon. Yeah, I know. I nearly did it. Do it. Nearly did it. Don't you fret, my little petal. I'm gonna. I'm gonna fix this up proper. These little lemurs ain't gonna know what's eaten. Your foot. Hit 'em with your foot. I've got like floating things going on now. Ooh. Like a glare on the screen. Really rather annoying. Right, little lemur. You're gonna help me. What type of terrain do you like? Oh, grass. Little bit of rock. Not a lot of sand. Soil. Soil, not. No, window's not open. Hands. Mm. Too squeaky. That would be better. How do I do that? That's better. Had to swap chairs over because I didn't see very well. Oh, I can move this up. What? Sorry, I like to be really high up and really close to the screen so I can see better. And like you, he likes to be really far away and really low down. That's gradient. Terrain. Rocky terrain. Ja, perfect. All's lovely. Right, plant. We need plants. Famous. Got that. Plant that I missed. That's rock. Rocky area. Oh. want that? Where's Sam? Who's Sam? Who's Sam? Huh? You know what? Building. Hi, Emma. And out of where? Can't get. I can't get up that high. I don't want it to. Oh. Anything at all? Ah. I like sandbox mode. Sandbox is good. Where we at? Oh. That bit. Oops. Mountain. A mountain. You're doing the heist, dear. Yeah, that's alright. Any. Yeah, it's good. I likes it. Likes it. I don't like when they put you on. Oh, reading some crap that Streamlabs has put on there. I don't like it when they put you on these maps that have, you know, got like places already built. I don't like it. I like to be able to build my own, you know. Yeah, it's fine, darling. I'm having fun. Dinner will literally take 20 minutes. You stay on till 9 o'clock. Well, I'm not allowed to stay on till 9 o'clock. I started at, I don't know what time I started. Started at 6ish. Right. Let's put some, right, we've got a feeding table. These guys deleted my Dave can't hack the long string but trade regard. To be fair, playing something like this, I would literally be on and be like, shit, I've got to go and take Lacey's ball into it. That's what happens to me all the types of games. Absolutely. Don't know if the animal will be able to walk along there. Why is it good? Welfare, W welfare. Space. Insufficient area or crowding hills. Yeah, every time I put an item down, still going 7. Yeah, definitely still going 7 AM the next morning. Click on a lemur then. Now I need to put some water down, but why is it not letting me click it? There we are. Oh. You may have been right there, Dave, about the... Yeah. Fucking lemurs are jumping over the wall. Brilliant. Fucking... Look, there he is. What you doing? Hello. Right. That's right. What do I do? Found the lemur. Help. How do I call the vet? Don't know. But that's one. Oh, there's two of them there. Literally got two different animals. What are you doing? Literally fucking off. Oh, there's another one, look. Ando. Box that one up. Yeah, fucking box that one. How are they getting out? They're not getting out through where you think they're getting out through, Dave. They're getting out through this small platform here. They're literally running through the fence. You little cunt. Literally stepping on the lemur. I'll be working with my dad on in West Yorkshire. Right. Oh, that's good. 19th. Right, does anyone know how I phoned the vet to come pick this prick up? Because I've put one in the sin bin. Pick one up and phone him away. There he is, been put in there, but I don't know. Oh, I can't figure out how to do it. No, I've paused it. That's alright, Massey. I've paused it. I know where the animals are. I just can't figure out how to put them back. I'm just gonna pick her up. I'm gonna move her. That's oh, there we are. If you're if I'm there. I wonder if you just go, oh look, there's a lemur there. Oh yeah. And the other one, love. I just picked her up and moved her and she's... Yeah. Lovely. Good. Good. For some reason... This box. Leave that one out there, are we? For update. Hell. What are you? And it's literally not letting me do anything with that box. Just gonna live out there, I'm assuming. No, they went literally through the bloody through the wall. So the one of the climbing frame platforms was yeah. Where it was sticking out, it just literally walked straight through the fucking wall. fucking... Gosh. I don't know where that feeding. Thanks, love. Right. Yeah, I know. The lemur's stuck outside. Oh, it's... I don't... Animal. No, he's... Lions ain't... Me lion. Lions and tigers and bears, so why? Black and... Got this bracken stuff everywhere. One of these animals... No for anymore. Bit more. Oh, love good chips. What did you have? Don't say fish and chips. Like, literally, what did you have? Oh. properly. So. Bit pretty. Oh. Golden chips, tartar sauce. Yes. I love tartar sauce, gherkin, that's what I have. They ain't too fussed about colour irons. Love tartar sauce. Every time when we used to work together, me and Dave, every time I used to cut up the cucumbers, he used to dip it in tartar sauce. Yeah, I like a bit of ketchup with it, but I love tartar sauce. So you've got to have salt and vinegar on it. Who the fuck is Max? Environment good. I don't know why it's not showing me the enrichment. Oh, the kitty cats need some toys. Big toys. Leon. Up there. Oh, it's not. Zebra pin. Gonson. Then there's gonna be a line over them. Lovely. My lions are happy. Go to you too. Happy lions. Bastard. Boy. Gosh. Oh my god. Got loads of plants I don't like in here. And I haven't been over to the ostrich yet. I'm racking miles. That's good. Who's Miles? Huh?
Not bad. Not bad at all. I think it's fair to say that you've passed the first part of your training with flying colours. There's still lots more to learn, but we'll have to head to another one of Bernie's zoos for that.
Okay.
If you want to grab your passport, we'll head off, shall we?
Go do that. Grab your...
Sounds like you've got the whole zoo purring away nicely. Well, purring, grunting, screaming, booming. All the appropriate noises. I guess I was right to hire you, huh? Don't tell her I told you, but Nancy wasn't sure you'd even last the morning. So, we're happy this is working out. And Nancy owes me a foxy coffee. As strange as it seems, considering we just met, when I look at you, I feel like you're the child I never had. After the one I did have, obviously. But you see, zookeeping's not for my daughter. Don't get me wrong. Emma absolutely loves animals, but she set her sights somewhat higher. Wants to save the entire planet. I'll just settle for saving a couple of species. Oh, and maybe having a type of frog named after me.
The fuck is that weirdo? Oh, that's my boss. Help! Help! Excuse me. Where's Gibbo gone? He knows what to do. Help! You're the boss. Yeah, he's my zoo boss. He tells me what to do, but he's obviously not very good at telling me what to do because I don't know what to do next. Third time to get my passport and now. Gibbo gone moving. That's the settings. I don't know what to do. Oh, where have you gone? It said to get my passport and go to the next zoo. But I don't know how to do that. I've completed all of this. Anyone knows how to get onto the next zoo? This. Oh, that is. Pretty big zoo to be fair. Just have to do stuff. Here. Blueprint. Oh. Bugs. Do I have to say go to the main? I shouldn't have to go to the main menu. Carry on, do I? Let's say my zoo. Save my learning on the job here, people. See what happens. Gibbo is no help. Gotta sack him.
Whoa! Yeah.
Here. Look, here we go. Tutorial 8. Gonna help the monkey. You have to go back to the main menu. Okay. But we figured it out. But 20 minutes. 41 minutes past 8. I have 19 minutes.
Welcome to
monkeys.
Madagascar. It's quite the change of scenery from dreary old England, huh? Apart from the weather, I suppose. They don't call these places rainforests for nothing.
This is well cool.
The zoo you'll be working in
fun.
is an ape sanctuary, where we're doing vitally important conservation work. Not just for apes, but for all kinds of species. But
Yeah, I
apes,
saw the fucking hippo
well,
in the water.
apes are some of the closest
What are you
relatives to
doing on here,
humans there
Dave?
are. And yet, the way the world treats them is like, well, very much like
See
some
your
of us
face
treat
very
our
well, but I know it's
actual
not
relatives.
impressed.
Anyway, that's why I'm determined that our operation here does some good. If we can all leave some part of the world in a better state than we found it, we'll have lived lives worth living. And speaking of states, I have a horrible feeling I left the house in the right one. When I get back, I expect my life won't be worth living at all.
What do you think of Madagascar then?
16.
Bit warm for my taste, to be honest. Anyway, this is Bernie's primate sanctuary. It's not just primates, though. We've got all sorts of animals. So why don't we go and
Well,
have a
you
look
did
at
just
some of them, eh?
say.
We'll start by taking a look at the red-ruffed lemurs. They're the ones that look like they should be in a Shakespeare play. Come on, let's head over to them.
Yeah. What now? Yeah. Ooh, you go. Yeah. I'll get used to this.
Red-ruffed lemurs are found in the rainforests of Masuala. That's in northeast Madagascar. They can actually live anywhere from 15 up to 25 years. Fancy that, eh? Okay, when you're ready, let's go find our Bornean orangutans.
No, my relatives are over here, Dave. I'm not related to the lemurs. I'm related to the
Bornean
orangutans.
orangutan is such a marvellous creature. They're always a big favourite at any zoo they feature in, and they're also the biggest tree-dwelling animal on the planet. Assuming you don't count any lions that got stuck up one. Oh, why don't you take a better look at them? Open up their information panel and go into the animal camera. Aren't they just incredible?
Ah.
When you're ready, let's go and have a look-see at some of our beautiful bonobos. They're quite the characters.
Bonobo. And to look at the bonobos.
Oh dear! It looks like we've arrived just in time. One of the habitat's barriers has collapsed.
Oh,
And wouldn't you know it, one of the bonobos has made a run for it.
course
We'll
it
need
has.
to catch them. But before we do, we should box up the other bonobos to stop them escaping too. Select the habitat boundary to bring up the habitat information panel. Good. Now open the Animals tab. And click on Box All Animals to box up the remaining bonobos.
box.
Now, we'll need a vet to recapture that escaped bonobo, but it seems our last one left to do some research in the wild. Not an ideal situation. So, we'll need to hire a replacement sharpish. Go into the zoo section and then into the staff management area. You can find all of your staff in here, but there's no time to go looking at their particulars at the
Yes,
moment.
broken.
Hire a vet. Now, click on one of the paths to place the vet in your zoo.
Ah.
As you can see, the barrier's collapsed. Someone's taken their eye off the ball, obviously. Let's get this one replaced. Select the barrier and then we'll edit it. Delete the broken section of barrier and replace it with a brand spanking new one. Good. Now that we've done that, we need to make sure to add climb-proof barriers to the top. That way the bonobos won't be able to climb out. Just make sure you've got the correct piece of barrier selected when you do that. Okay, so go into the options section and select which side the climb-proof barrier needs to go on. And don't get it wrong. We're more worried about bonobos climbing out than guests climbing in.
Oh, I'll put it on both sides.
Nicely
just
done. And I think it's high time we unbox those bonobos, wouldn't you say? The poor mites will get sad if we leave them in there for too long. Select the habitat barrier to bring up the habitat information panel again. And then open the Animals tab. So, it turns out that as well as the old vet leaving, the zoo's mechanics did too. We'll need to
Brilliant.
hire a couple of new ones so we can help stop any more breakouts. You see, mechanics do all sorts of helpful things around the zoo, but one of their most important jobs is taking care of the habitat barriers. Without mechanics around to repair them, the barriers will crack, crumble, and fall down. And before you know it, we'll be overrun with escaped animals. Go into the zoo section and then into the staff management area again.
Done that, love.
Gosh, we have been busy, haven't we? Good work there. I'm off for a cuppa. Oh, I think Bernie wants a word with you.
Oh, I hear you had a bit of an issue with an escaped bonobo. The main thing is that you dealt with it swiftly, and more importantly, without the animals stealing someone's clothes, putting them on, and then walking out of the front gate.
Now, you've probably noticed that there's already a building where I want you to build the research centre. Don't worry. You see, the building that's currently there is actually a hollow shell, so we're able to place our new building inside of it. If you select the research centre for placement and then hover over the shell, you'll see that it asks if you want to add the research centre to the existing building. OK, click to add it to the building. Oh, but that won't place it in just yet, though. First, we'll need to rotate our research centre so it automatically connects to the path when we place it. Right, splendid work. Now that we have a brand spanking new research centre, we can give our vets something to do in there. Oh, by the way, it's worth noting that the vets will only do research when they're not required to do any other jobs. That said, you can change what jobs a vet does via their information panel. But let's not worry about that just now. So, let's get our vet researching ring-tailed lemurs. Go into the zoo section and select Vet Research. Here, you can see a list of all the animals present in your zoo, and also all the potential diseases that can occur. Now, drag and drop your vet onto the ring-tailed lemur to start their research. Actually, thinking about it, I'm not sure we've got any education boards or speakers by the lemur's habitat. Let's head over there and add some, so our guests can learn all about the furry little delights. First off, let's pop down 2 education boards. Place them on the habitat barriers at a height that guests can see, or, if you like, pop them down on a stand.
Oh. God.
Okay, now that they've been put into position, we have to tell them what animal to display information about. Select one of the education boards to bring up its information panel.
What are these?
And from the drop-down list, select ring-tailed lemur. Although I'm sure that last part was obvious. When you link an education board or a speaker to an animal, you need to make sure that said animal is close by. If it isn't, the guests will get confused and won't learn as much. Okay, now that we've done the education boards, let's pop down a pair of speakers. Speakers play audio to the guests so they can learn while they look at the animals, instead of having to go through the laborious process of reading. Oh, one thing to bear in mind is that it's important not to put the speakers too close together. If you do, the guests won't be able to understand what's being said.
They're fucking back to front. Foxy. There you go.
Now we simply need to link the speakers to the ring-tailed lemurs, just like you did with the education boards.
Good.
Fantastic! Oh,
Right.
it's worth remembering that education boards and speakers both need power to work. They won't do much good without it. Oh, it looks as though our vet has completed their research on ring-tailed lemurs. We'll need to collect the results. We can do that by clicking on the notification or by going back into the vet research area. Go on, collect your research rewards. Just so you know, vets will continue to research an animal even after successfully completing a research level. I suppose when you're in the zone, you're in the zone. Well, now that we've enriched the lives of our guests, let's enrich the lives of our ring-tailed lemurs. Some animals, like lemurs, will have a climbing need. That means they have a requirement for a certain amount of climbing space, and you can fulfill that requirement by building them a climbing frame. Let's find out how much more climbing space our lemur friends need, shall we? Select one of them and bring up their information panel. Next, click on the Terrain tab. Now, as you can see, the lemurs need quite a lot more climbing space. But as it happens, I've already got a climbing frame blueprint built for you. So you can either pop that down or build one yourself from scratch. By the way, it's not always just climbing needs that you have to worry about. Other animals might need a certain amount of water in their habitat so they can go for a swim. They certainly do keep us on our toes. Oh, that's a great climbing frame for them. They're going to absolutely love it. Do you know
Fucking
what will make them
floating.
even happier, though? Nicer food. But that's true of all of us, though, isn't it? You can unlock better quality food for animals through research. Luckily, we've already unlocked some for the lemurs, so all that remains is to make sure they get served it from now on. Let's bring up the habitat information panel by selecting the lemur habitat.
There isn't anywhere that's flat. Oh, that's where she told me to put it. What does she do?
Lovely. Now select the Animals tab.
Food quality.
There we go. As you can see, we can set the food quality in here. Just click on the drop-down menu and select Grade 2 Food Quality. Grade 2 Food Quality. My mouth's already watering. So,
hello, Mr. Jingles.
A new climbing frame and better food. Oh, you've really spoilt those lemurs rotten. Now, I think it's time we looked at one of the zoo's most important responsibilities. Releasing animals into the wild. You see, when we feel an animal is ready, we can release them into the wild. But what makes an animal a good candidate for release? Well, their age is an important factor. I mean, we can't release an animal that's a juvenile, just as we can't release one that's gotten too old. They'll also need to be fertile. After all, the idea is to repopulate the wild, so the best candidates will have a high fertility gene. And together, the age and fertility of a candidate will determine how many conservation credits we'll be rewarded when we release them. Now, conservation credits are vitally important. They're the lifeblood of your zoo, because earning them allows you to adopt even more animals. And what's more, the animals you can adopt will be of a higher quality. So, with that in mind, let's hop over to our orangutan habitat. Okay, I'd like you to find Agang, the Bornean orangutan in the habitat, and select him, please. You can either click through each orangutan in turn, or select the habitat barrier, go to the Animals tab in the Habitat Information panel, and find him in the Animals list.
Done.
I know, it's sad to see him go, but he'll be happy out in the wild. And he's a wonderful candidate for release. Young, strong, and fertile. Excellent work there. You've definitely got potential, you know.
I see you've been doing some homework. Although, it hardly seems like work when you're learning about something as adorable as a ring-tailed lemur. I imagine I'd have got much better grades at school if there'd been less algebra and more aldebra tortoises.
Okay, so far we've done a lot of work with habitat animals, but now it's time to learn all about exhibit animals. Let's build a brand new exhibit. I've marked an area for our new exhibit. How about we head over there?
Well, I'm not going to head over there, love. I'm going to leave there. What one? Oh. Right, I'm going to call it a night there, guys. Because Dave wants his dinner. I'm a bit hungry too. I will be back though. I hope next Wednesday, hopefully, if I'm allowed the day off again. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Sorry for yawning. But thanks for joining me. I'll see you later. JC, Tezza, Mr. Jingles, Massey, and anyone else is in the chat. If I beat you, I'll let you get the reward because I want you nice, Jay. But anyway, Dave will be on tomorrow with Ghost Recon. And I'll probably see you when I get home from work. But yeah, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.